Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today on this long weekend special, yes, what is it? Canada Day and Independence Day. Independence Day on the 4th, of course. But we are going to be talking about how to simplify effective, or just let's try that again. Simple yet effective strategies for your Amazon business in 2023. How do you succeed in 2023? What are some of the key elements in running a brand? And how do you build and organize your team structure? Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with
Okay, like I said, we're going to be talking about simple yet effective strategies for your Amazon business in 2023. Our guest is an e-commerce expert with extensive experience helping 8 and 9-figure DTC brands succeed on Amazon. As the leader of Full Circle, his goal is to run a tight ship and ensure that every aspect of their operation is optimized for success. His expertise in the industry is backed by multiple 8-figure exits of his own brands on Amazon 4 years ago, which has given him valuable insight into what it takes to achieve success in a competitive marketplace. And we do know how competitive that marketplace is. Okay, first-time guest, we'll be welcoming Ken Freeman. Just a sec, though. We have a word from our sponsor. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by Jeff Schick Legal. Amazon suspensions are very real, but how do sellers like us protect ourselves against these costly suspensions without spending thousands of dollars? For a very low monthly retainer of just $89, get full access to Amazon attorney Jeff Schick. Mention Lunch with Norm and receive 50% off the first 2 months. Visit jeffschick.com today. That's JEFFSCHICK.com. Now let's get back to the show. Okay, so let's bring in the Squire, the mayor of Blunderville, the Blunder Boy.
The name just gets longer and longer. All right.
Course.
Happy Monday, Norm.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, good to see you, and good to see our Beard Nation. We've got Cool Hand 99, Steve, Rad, and Bassy joining us in the comments on YouTube. Good to see you. If you're watching, let us know. Say hi. I'm going to be here in the comments, as you can see right here. So I'll be hanging out there. If you have any questions, comments for us, let us know. We have a great giveaway today as well. So stick around to learn how you can enter. We actually do this every single episode too. So if you're new, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, we do a little giveaway every single episode. So before we get started, though, make sure you join our Facebook group. That's the Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and e-commerce collective. And of course, smash those like buttons. Give us a thumbs up. We are a podcast too, so if you're interested in bringing us on the road, on your commute, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I think that's it.
Okay, and just a couple of event updates. So let's see, July, what is it? I think it's mid-July. 17th, I think. I have to double check this. Maybe Kelsey can do that while I'm talking about it. But going to an event called Driven by Perry Belcher, and that's with Kevin King and Rich Goldstein, Elena Saras, some of our favorite people that are going to be there. Anyways, this is not my event. I'm not going to be speaking. It's just supposed to be a really incredible event for entrepreneurship. So anyways, if you're there, if you're in LA at the time, let us know and maybe we can have a meetup. The other thing is we are going to eCom Summit, and that's coming up quickly. And yes, Steve Fillion, we will be in Chicago, your hometown. Former Canadian, now living in Chicago. So can't wait to meet you when we go to the eCom Summit. All right. And if you need more information about that, we are going to be posting that Amazon event in the group. It is, and I'm really interested in this. We had Isaiah on, but I've been talking with Brexton. These are two partners that have brought it up, are creating this event. It's very different. It's more of mentoring throughout the day rather than just speaking, which is kind of cool. So check it out if you are available. Kelsey will post it in here. And if you want to go, I know it's very affordable. One of the things I do want to talk about just quickly, and I'm going to get Ken's opinion on this too when we start talking, but the importance of entrepreneurship. And if you're an entrepreneur, is very lonely. You only can depend on yourself. Just being disciplined for an 8-hour workday or a 12-hour workday or a 4-hour workday, whatever you do, is tough. And whether you listen to a podcast like this or join a mastermind, Facebook group, you've got to do something. And I'm talking about, I don't know any successful entrepreneur that just does it on their own. You might be a one-person game, but you need other opinions coming in. You could call it your trusted board of advisors, right? So I think it's important that you get out there. A lot of people just starting out might not be able to afford a $200 or a $500 or a 5,000 event like Kevin King's. His is always sold out. It's usually for advanced sellers, but intermediate and advanced sellers will pay $5,000 or $6,000 because they know that they're going to get that back 3, 4, 5, tenfold. It's that important. So even if it's a local meetup, get to know other people in your city just so you can start talking with them. We have a meetup. We had a really good meetup here in Toronto. Over COVID, it kind of fell apart, and hopefully that could be brought back with. We talked about it last week. The Titan Network came up to Toronto and brought a breath of fresh air back into the group. I think they had about 80 people show up, which is great for Toronto. Anyways, just going down a rabbit hole before we get started with Ken, because I think it's super important that you go out, you network, or if you can't get into a group, just get into a Facebook group, do something, listen to a podcast. And by the way, whether it's this podcast or if you're listening to another Amazon mentoring group, don't get 10 different opinions coming in or 20. It's just too much. And although I might have an opinion on something and somebody else might have an opinion that's a little bit different or completely different, they might end up you might end up doing the exact same thing, just a different angle. But it can really confuse people if you're listening to too many people because they just have the same message, but it's just a different way of getting to it. So kind of keep that in mind. I'm not saying leave our podcast, but what I'm saying is limit it to a few people that you're listening to or groups that you're in. Don't get into 200 groups. How's that for a long-winded rabbit hole to start this whole thing off? Okay, so I think that's it. Let's head over or if you have any questions or comments, make sure you throw them over in the comments section. We're going to have a lot of different things that we're going to be talking about, a lot of touch points today. And if you have any questions, just throw them over there. We'll get to them at the top of the hour. Now let's bring in Ken. Oh, no, not yet. Sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee. Got to have my catchphrase and relax. Okay, now Ken.
All right, Norm. Great to meet you.
All the way from Mexico.
Pleasure to see you. Un placer.
Yeah, and you too. So this is the first time you're on the show. One of the things that I was interested in, just as we were starting to talk, you said that. Well, I'll let you say it. Your backstory, just a little bit before we get started.
Yeah, great. I started in the e-commerce space nearly a decade ago, and a lot of what you're sharing about masterminding and connecting with other entrepreneurs was really transformative in my journey. But when I started, I didn't know any other sellers, any other entrepreneurs, and I was waiting tables in a restaurant And my childhood best friend and I, started learning about FBA just, kind of before this huge wave came in. And we started in a very bootstrap way, just ordering 100 units from China of a particular product. And somehow that just snowballed into a really huge business that we had to learn as we were going, making lots of friends and connecting with other people, and was really transformative. So, after just 3 or 4 years of starting my business, we actually grew it to a size that we were able to sell to Thrasio, which we're actually one of the first companies to ever sell to Thrasio, which is kind of like a very famous and now infamous aggregator. And that was a very cool experience. And then since then, after a great exit, which was really kind of life-changing for us, I've gotten into brand management and just been teaming up with lots of exciting, very cool brands, cool products, and kind of connecting our Amazon specific skills and strategies with these products that we believe in and helping them succeed. So it's been a long journey.
Good. It's been a long journey, but you're just, you're just a pup. I've been in it forever. I'm a fossil when it comes to this stuff. So it's nice to have, some, what, it sounds like I'm a grandfather, my grandfather, you young bucks, but
you've got the wisdom. The wisdom.
But you know what? It's so great that 10 years ago, you could be waiting a table and now you're a very successful, not only Amazon brand, but you've also been able to take these 8 and 9 figure brands and get them onto Amazon. So it's so cool to see what you did 10 years ago and how quickly it could change. And that's, we're talking 10 years ago, but I'm talking about people that get into this business for 2 or 3 years, just like you, and you see a life-changing event. Now, I can't say that for everybody. There's definitely a formula here. And the formula it's simple. Just do action steps. If you have great intentions, that's all you'll have is great intentions. You'll listen to these podcasts and never do anything. And one of the other things, and I think Kelsey probably told you about this, I'm a little long-winded and I go down many different rabbit holes, but you know what? If you try to implement everything you learn on this podcast, you'll go crazy. If you listen to the podcast and, okay, that sounds good, and you might take one action point or every other podcast or one action item a week, so that's 3 podcasts, 1 a week, and you implement it, you're going to have a huge change in what you're doing in your Amazon career or Walmart or e-commerce career. But I always tell our boys, I have 3 sons, and I don't care what they do, but if they do something 1 hour a week, and after a year, you'll be an expert, and it's life-changing. So anyways, I just wanted to state that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. It's not just everyone likes hacks, right? Everyone's like wants the newest hack, but it's really combining everything together. Having a disciplined, scheduled life and getting clarity, and then taking action items, action steps on everything that we're learning, right? If we can't digest it, we can't take any action from it.
And you do have to take some time off. Like one of the things I try to do is I will work and I'll work solid and I'll concentrate on what I'm doing, but then I have to take that 15-minute, half-hour break. I do like usually at 3:00 in the summer, nice days like this, 3:00 is I'm going out for a cigar break. And then I get back to work, but it gives me an hour just to chill. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm doing something completely different. It's just, you got to escape from that. And these are things, by the way, you will learn in these types of masterminds. And what I could do too is maybe in our Facebook group, we'll post a bunch of masterminds or Facebook groups that people can join, not only just for Amazon, but I'm going to give a plug out to young entrepreneurs. So not young, they've changed YEO. It's entrepreneur organization. So you might have a successful business and you're dealing with Amazon, but how can you expand your business that much further? And what I found back in the day, back in the 90s, actually, our EO forum has met for 27 or 28 years. And if you don't know EO, check it out. If you're selling over $1 million, $1.5 million in sales, you have to, this will be vetted. So you'll have to prove it. But you're going to have what I call your own trusted board of advisors. So you have a monthly meeting. They have these universities that are really cool. You have to pay for it. But at the end of the day, you also have these forums. And these forums are just a group of people that are confidential from different walks of or different types of industries. And they become, like I said earlier, the board of advisors. And it's so cool to have. I know they've helped me out a million times. And you couldn't get that just by talking to your next door neighbor, you know? And like for our group was, I think it was around 10 people. Maybe it was 12 at one time, but 10 people. And we still get together every year, 28 years later.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
They say your network is your net worth, right? So surround yourself with success.
And unbelievable, but the 10 people that we have in our group represent probably well over $1 billion in sales. Yeah, I mean, year annually.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. So anyways, it really does work. Okay, so let's get into some of the topics that we were going to talk about today. So let's start off with simple yet effective strategies that e-com owners or Amazon owners can do right away.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, there's so many things. And, you know, you mentioned before, everyone knows the game is much more competitive than it used to be. It's almost, it could be almost a little embarrassing looking back at some of the things that we were doing in the beginning, and yet we still were able to have some success, thankfully. But now, you know, everyone that's coming into Amazon, I mean, is usually very well funded. You know, it's a huge operation. So everything that we have to do, even if we're more bootstrapped, which is, you know, no problem at all, we just have to be very, very thorough and very intentional with everything that we do. So, you know, how do people find you? You know, it starts off by ranking for keywords, and when they do find you, you know, or when they're scrolling to the page, you have to win the main image, right? Because as everyone is scanning through their phones, looking so quickly, people are making decisions so fast. So something that we've been utilizing, especially more and more recently, is a lot of different A/B testing, right? So we really need to stand out. So winning the main image. And a company that we like to work with that I'm not associated with, but I think their product's fantastic, is called IntelliLevy. So we've been basically IntelliLevy. It's like a polling software where you can essentially put your main product image or other aspects of your listings in comparison to others. And costs about $1 a vote roughly, you can actually have 100, 200 people vote on, hey, which would you select, essentially. So you can stack your main images up against your competitors, and really within an hour have the results with some really specific advice as well. People will look at your main image, look through all your listings and say, hey, I like this. I like this person's, I like the way they call this out, or this is how I would use the product. It's very, very insightful to have, you know, especially if it's your own brand or product, you're just looking at it every single day. So sometimes you get kind of, you know, a little blind, I guess.
So what was that service called?
It's called IntelliLevy. There's a couple others. I think Cellametrics is another one that's pretty popular.
Yeah,
and
PickFu, Product Opinion. There's a few of them out there.
Yeah, great. So I'm sure they're all quite similar. So,
I'm just kind of curious. You said that it's about $1 a vote, and you know, some people, especially if you're new, might be going, "Oh my gosh, you know, that's going to be a lot of money." How many votes do you need to have a really good opinion on where it sits?
Yeah, I would say probably a minimum of 50, right? But
minimum,
minimum of 50. We do 100 or 200, and then you get a lot of great, incredible metrics that are very insightful. And if you just really think, you use all these different softwares, Helium 10, Seller Sprite, Jungle Scout, whatever it may be, and see, hey, if you want to get on first page or the top 10 on first page, what sort of money is there to be made? And if that is your goal, which you don't have, in order to succeed on Amazon, you don't have to be in the top 10 of your category. There's lots of money to be made all around. But depending on what your goals are, really $50, $100, or $200 investment to get a lot of insights, which would increase your click-through rate, and then ultimately the amount of sales you're generating. You can do the math and see if that's worthwhile for you or not. But it's been very helpful for us, very insightful.
Right. Yeah. So don't worry about $200. You'll get that back. I mean, you have to be, if you're worried about $200 and trying to get that information, like that split, and this happens all the time with me. I'll think I've got the perfect picture until I split test it, and I find out that 70% like the other picture, and that one picture is worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Could be, depending on your niche. Just spending that $200 is just put money in your pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I started totally bootstrapped and put all the money that I had with my childhood best friend into our business. And it was either going to succeed or not. Right. And, so I would say if anyone else is bootstrapped out there, have a very specific budget for yourself. You say, hey, this is the amount of money that I can really invest in that. You get your products, you order your units, you get your creative done, and, make sure you save money in there for your pay-per-click, and then different sort of testing, things like that. But then, only invest what you're willing to potentially lose in a way as well. So then you can be if you're too tight or restricted, you're with your money in a way. In those ways, you're probably not going to have too much luck, right? You have to be very calculated and try not to make your decisions just emotionally. You really want to be wise and a little bit detached from the business in a way so you can make the best decisions.
Right. So 2023, we're talking about strategies right now. Are there any other strategies that you can see?
Yeah. So, really mastery of pay-per-click is extremely important, right? And Norm, you've been in the game for a while. I mean, when I got started, the amount of just sponsored ad spots was a fraction of what they are today, right? So, when you search for anything on Amazon, you have your top banner spot, then you have rows of sponsored ads and stuff. So, when you have your product and you say, hey, if I want to succeed with this product, these are the keywords that I have to win. You really have to be extremely analytical and implement a very tactical PPC strategy. So you say, hey, these are my top keywords. If I want to win, I have to go after these. So you have different sort of buckets of strategies. So say, hey, maybe for X amount of time, 1, 2, 3 months, I'm actually willing to, and, we can be much more aggressive with some of our brands that we're working with that are already, at quite a scale. But say, hey, if we really want to rank for these, we have to push it hard. And how do we do that? PPC is a great lever, one of the best levers within Amazon to increase your ranking. So we make very tactical campaigns where we're willing to, do lots of top of search placements and things like that for our most important keywords. And we push that. That's incredibly important. Also, what I'm seeing, so many of the brands that I work with, I really work with a lot of D2C brands. What they're doing outside of Amazon is also very big, right? So I can't say enough about really building a brand, right? So now building a brand, there's so many brands that are specific just to Amazon, and my own brands were Amazon specific, right? Just standalone on Amazon. But, especially as a lot of manufacturers from China now sell on Amazon, and a lot of very well-connected people, you don't want to compete on price alone. So I would say lots of external strategies, Google ads, Facebook ads. What I'm really curious about right now is organic TikTok. So there's just lots of different sort of affiliate things you can do, or product giveaways and stuff. So, and many of the brands that we're working with do this, which is quite interesting, especially if you can just offer free products, but having lots of, product videos made, which you can both use for UGC, but then also direct them back to Amazon, because Amazon loves when you bring external traffic into their platform. And the way that they reward you is by increasing your rank, right? So they know where the traffic is coming from. So, the game is certainly more complex than it used to be. And that means it's going beyond what everyone else is doing. And I would say a lot of the brands that I'm working with, the D2C brands have to master all these different, Facebook, Google, TikTok, et cetera, to succeed. And that really is creating a brand. And when you have a real brand, that's something that's powerful, and people are willing to pay more for a brand that they believe in as opposed to a no-name private label product.
Yeah, I remember Mike McClary over at Amazing. It used to be ASM. They used to call it ASM, the Amazing Selling Machine. He used to call it blitz marketing. So you just couldn't go out with your PPC campaign. You should drive traffic from all sorts of multiple sources to get that bump, even like on a product launch or just to maintain. And by the way, when I started 2013, there was no PPC on Amazon, none. You just threw up a product and it would, if you did it right, it would stick, which was crazy back in the day. And it's kind of similar to Walmart right now, which is, Walmart doesn't cost a lot for your PPC, but it's not hard to rank on Walmart. And as long as you do it right. Some of the things, like I was listening to what you're talking about with your PPC strategies. A couple of things when you're talking about keywords, what I'm finding and when I'm talking to brands is that a lot of brands don't understand the difference between browsing and buying keywords. And so the browsing keyword is like a pet treat. You don't know what pet the person has. You don't know if it's a dog, cat, hamster, but some people will bid on those and they'll waste their money. Then the next one, let's say it's a bully stick. I use this example quite a bit. Oh, that's a buying keyword. However, you're going to blow your budget easily if you're just launching and you're trying to get bully stick. So we try to go and we try to break it into silos, and we call them primary long tails, which would be grass-fed bully stick, organic bully stick, 6-inch bully stick. And then we find the long tails in each silo. And then what we'll do is we'll try to find how many, like you could have huge search volume. Let's say 6-inch grass-fed natural bully stick. Let's say it's natural bully stick. You can see that it has 20,000 searches, but it's still going to be a little pricey to go and go after. So you go down your list and you could see that maybe there is a 6-inch natural bully stick or an organic natural bully stick or grass-fed or natural bully stick. And you can see the search volume, but it's not necessarily the search volume. It's what people are buying on. So you need to have these types of tools, these keyword research tools, to see what, and you can also use, by the way, reports within Amazon now that they offer them, the search query performance report, I think it's called.
Yes.
To see what keywords you're actually selling on or what keywords sell. And people make a huge mistake by just using and targeting the wrong keywords. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yes, a couple points there. Absolutely right about it can be really attractive, right? If you're mentioning pet treat or whatever it may be, because the search volume is going to be crazy high for that, right? But you would find by looking through your search query performance reports, which we've internally built out some really cool dashboards, because if anyone looks at their search query performance reports, you can download the reports and play with them for a while. My wife she has a master's in data science. So we've been able to build out some very cool dashboards. So we're actually tracking on a timeline our conversion rate, click-through rate, purchases on a ASIN and keyword level. And then also how our PPC performs for those exact keywords as well. So very interesting. And yeah, especially at first, I would not go after something like pet treats.
No.
And I mean, God only knows how expensive the cost per click and stuff would be for that. But then also what you're mentioning as well, I kind of see it as like climbing up a ladder. So you're mentioning you kind of have that root keyword in there and all of the other variations or long tail forms of that. So especially if people have more of a conservative budget with these things, it's great to start off with highly, highly relevant keywords that will have a lower search volume, but a higher, intent to buy rate, right? So you can start off at the lower level and you can, push that with PPC as one example, external traffic strategies as well. But, you can begin to rank on that. And, there's definitely going to be a relationship between if the root of that keyword is in there, slowly you can generate traction, you can rank for that keyword, and then you can begin to generate some organic sales. And then you can go slightly higher up the ladder for the next bigger, highly relevant keyword, and so on and so forth. And then until maybe you can make a splash into pet treats as the end goal. But you don't want to put all your PPC budget there for sure. So that's, right. That's a great strategy, and we definitely use that as well. Other brands though that just come in big with really big pockets, essentially, that's not the best example because it's too generic, but they'll go after the top keywords right away. And it's quite a different, it's really been cool for me to work with huge brands and just see the different strategies that people do when they're very, very well funded. And they'll come in right away and aggressively run PPC campaigns and external traffic targeting their top keywords. And they start from the top instead of from the bottom in that sense.
I don't know if you just noticed, it's like a ghost in the machine.
I saw
my
that.
Lights just popped. Just let me see. Isn't that wild? Stop it, lights. There. How's that?
You look good.
All right, there we go. Okay, so it's the bottom of the hour. Now, if you're new, I see that there's a lot of new listeners here. If you're new to this podcast, we have a special giveaway at the end of the podcast. We call it the Wheel of Kelsey. To enter, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people, you get a second entry. So our guest today, Ken, has come with a really special, great prize. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, definitely. For the winner, I'd be happy to do a 1-hour consultation with anyone, no matter what phase of the business you are. For my agency, we specifically work with 7, 8, 9-figure brands. Simultaneously, though, I started super bootstrap, and I'd be more than happy to speak to anyone for 1 hour, no matter what phase of the business you're at. So I hope I can add a lot of value.
That's fantastic. So just think of this. You're going to have somebody that's working with 7, 8, and 9-figure brands for 1 hour. That's kind of priceless. Anyways, to enter, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll get a second entry. Now let's have a word from our sponsor. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by VAA Philippines. Looking for a high-quality virtual assistant for your business? With the rigorous screening, intensive Amazon and Walmart training, and ongoing professional development, get the peace of mind with skilled and motivated virtual assistants for a long-term working relationship. Hire through VAA today, and now let's get back to the show. Okay, I'm just going to just mention that if you do have a question or a comment, just make sure you throw it into the comments section. We'll be talking about that at the top of the hour. And the other thing to mention, if you're doing anything different in 2023, I'd like to know what it is. So throw it in the comment section and let us all know about that. Okay, so one other thing that people are doing differently nowadays is brand defense. And that's using PPC and using your brand name. Is that something that you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the brands we work with, like Hexclad being one of them, which is a multiple 9-figure brand. It's very, very profitable for other people to target, their brand search terms, right? So, so they'll be running headline ads or the sponsored product ads and, the top spots. So I really put things into 2 different, it really depends where you're at, if people are coming after your brand or not, right? But so I really put things into 2 different buckets, your branded in your branded and non-branded
Right.
strategies, right? So those have very different objectives and different goals. So for your branded campaigns, you want those to be very conservative, right? Because you want to have a very lean, definitely, sub 15% ACOS, really target of a 10% or so, I would say, because basically you've already paid somehow. If someone's coming after your branded search term, now maybe they've heard from a friend, or maybe you're running external traffic on Facebook or something like that. So if someone's heard of your brand name, they're going to Amazon to buy they're searching for your brand, which is amazing. Congratulations if you're in that situation. And then you have to really balance how worthwhile it is to spend that money. And then there's a conversation to be had. If someone else is running their brand above yours, but they've searched for your brand name, if you're running a sponsored product, and I see this a lot, it's interesting. If you're running a sponsored headline ad or something like that above it, the question is, well, would someone skip over that and still buy your brand, or are they going to buy someone else's? So sometimes you don't want to push it too extreme, and then make sure you always have the spots, because then maybe you're actually cannibalizing your organic sales and you're spending more than you need to. So I love to use search query performance reports for that and see what our market share is, essentially. So you can test and say, hey, if someone's searching for your brand, HexCloud in this example, if we 100% own the top spots, what is our market share for our products? And search query performance report will give you that data. So say if our market share percent is 90% per se, what happens then if we test next week and drastically reduce those branded campaigns? Now, if the market share does not drop significantly at all, maybe it actually could be much more affordable to really reduce those budgets, right? Because maybe you're still making those sales. So sometimes it can be everyone needs to investigate that for themselves and test. Always be testing,
Yeah, this search query performance report, just in case people don't know where to find it, how can they?
Yeah, simply on Amazon in the brand section, click there, and it's called Search Query Performance Reports. It is the deepest insight into your brand that you could ever wish to see. And I believe you need brand registry in order to access that. So make sure you have that, of course. Check that out every single Monday. It's a weekly report you can get. You can also look at it monthly or quarterly, but every Monday, the report will populate with the results for your last week, and it will show you how many purchases were made for that keyword, how many purchases did your brand get compared to the market. So it's amazing. So we like to track all that to see, because ideally we're seeing for our most important keywords, we obviously want to see our market share increase over time. So it's just a fantastic thing. What's our click-through? We compare everything. What is our click-through rate versus the market click-through rate on a keyword level? So it's very meticulous in the data. But like I said, we've created our own dashboard that we can make very actionable, decisions based upon that. So I've had one client in particular. I was looking at the data and I noticed two things. We also track your price versus the market price. So I saw two things with one client recently, and I realized his just did not have a competitive price, and he previously was thriving, and then there was a big for many months before he started working with us, there was kind of a downtrend for his brand. And then one thing I noticed is his price was about $3 more. It was a less expensive product. Simultaneously, his price was about $3 higher than the market average, because Search Query Performance says, hey, this is basically how much people want to spend when they search for this keyword. And also his click-through rate was substantially lower. So we did two things. We changed the price, and we said, hey, for a certain period of time, let's lower the price. And simultaneously, we changed the main image, which we tested a lot, and then added some cool complementary items that showed the product in use to really make it stand out. And true story, within a few weeks, he actually got the bestseller badge. We maintained that lower price for quite some time, until eventually we went back and we raised the price a bit so we can generate more profitability. So that had a huge impact, and that was an example of how we used the data to make decisions that ended up making our client a lot more money.
Yeah, that's great. And I always I talk about people that analyze data versus aesthetics. And I mean, ideally, it's the best of both. But the people that really kill it on Amazon, like friends of mine that I talk to, it all comes down to the data analytics. The people who can look at their analytics, like look at the data, and then take action. Those are the ones that win. And
Yeah.
aesthetics is great. Like aesthetics will help you, get the person over to your listing. But if you can understand the data, then you've got that chance to get the sale, because you know what you're doing. You know the keywords. You know where you can spend your money. And like you were just talking about, a lot of people are afraid to drop their price. Well, if there's a reason for it, and now you bring it up, now you get the sales velocity, now you get the ranking, then you can bring it up.
Yeah, if there's a reason for it, if there's a very clear reason for it, right? We don't want to run at a loss forever. So doing everything with intentions and saying, hey, we're going to do this for X amount of time, and then let's see the results.
Right.
So,
okay. So let's talk about key elements. So what are the key elements to run brands effectively to scale your Amazon business?
Yeah, it's so many different things. I mean, and yes, the data is incredibly important to me. That's what I'm most fascinated in and where I put my interest, but simultaneously it's really doing, it's doing everything. You can't just, the data guys, if they're not teamed up with some incredible creative, they're not going to succeed. And simultaneously, if you don't have your logistics in place either, you're going to suffer, right? So when I was getting started in my business, I went from total bootstrap, knowing nothing and just ordering a couple hundred units at a time, to then scaling up drastically. Then the higher level business strategies, which Norm, I'm sure you learned a lot about in EO, of just like understanding your cash flow, which is, maybe not Amazon. That's not a hack. That's not an Amazon hack. But if you don't have your cash flow right, your business is going to suffer.
Right.
And then just really being incredibly meticulous with your inventory management as well, especially as you're growing. I mean, be very on that, right? Because say, Amazon ranks things geographically as well. So say if you're very short on your inventory, and maybe all of your inventory, you have very low amount of inventory, so you don't have inventory distributed all throughout the country. Your ranking in California is going to be different than your ranking in New York per se. So you want to find a very healthy amount of inventory to maintain, where you're not paying too much storage fees, but simultaneously you're not low stocked, which will cause you to, if Amazon can't ship it to you in 1 or 2 days, your rank is going to be lower essentially. So as you're scaling, you're doing that. And then I'd already mentioned as well, your pay-per-click management is incredibly important, and it is the easiest. I mean, some people are just like hemorrhaging money on pay-per-click. So making sure that your negative targeting is done extremely well, so that, you have certain rules in place to say, hey, you've gotten 20 clicks on this product, 30 clicks on this product. Everyone has different rules. No purchases. I need to make this keyword negative, whatever that may be. You really want to, as you're growing, there's just so many ways that you can cut costs to make sure that you're not, like I said, hemorrhaging money. So cleaning that up. And all the different things as well is like Amazon, as I mentioned, just really rewards bringing in lots of external traffic into their platform. So I would say incorporating that, and really, I would say going into the future, focus on building a brand. But it's going to be great if you have this issues of, do I need to run all these defensive campaigns for my brand and whatnot, because so many people are searching for you. And if they are, you're really doing something right. So focus on building a brand, I would say, and complement that with all these Amazon specific strategies that we're talking about. So,
yeah, I think everything that you said there is important. The idea about building the brand, Amazon wants you to build a brand. They want that brand community, and they're rewarding you. So let's just talk about Amazon posts for a second. Sumner Hobart, he put out something last year saying he didn't believe in it. We were talking about Amazon posts. He listened to the podcast. He wasn't too sure about it. He put up a bunch of posts, 10, I think, and nothing happened. So he stopped doing it. Then he came back and he says, I want to give you an update. those posts that I posted, I think it was over that 10-day period. They gave me X number of impressions and click-throughs over to my listing. So you can't get a sales number, but the click-throughs are pretty good. I mean, that's a captivated audience that are coming over. So that's one thing. Just being brand consistent. So if somebody's people are micro brands. All of us. Well, not your 9-figure brands, but all of us are micro brands. We sell products it's not a household name. Well, people are going to go to Google, they're going to search you. And if you don't look like you're a brand, either on a one-page website, social media, what people are writing about you, if you're using influencers, what are they saying about you? If you don't have that, then you got a problem, because people, like, let's say that I know for myself, I usually will check these orange light bulbs that I'm using in the back. I went on Amazon and I checked these orange light bulbs that are being sold by about 7 or 8 different brands. And I checked them out, which was stupid, but I checked them out. And because they were a micro brand, I just wanted to see what they look like. Is it a real company? Is it a broker? What are they? And, I went with my decision. People do that all the time. It's just, they're looking for a red flag. And once they see it, they click off and they go to the next one.
Yeah. I would also just say with Amazon posts, if you look on, your Amazon shopping app and you're scrolling through, the Amazon posts have a pretty good placement as well. So if we're doing these, talking about brand defense, if you're doing Amazon posts, at least that's going to block, if you have your post there, at least it's going to take up that real estate, which I always see, your product detail page or the search page as real estate. Yeah. So you want to take up as much real estate with your own things as possible compared to any of your competitors. Okay.
The other one that I like is the related videos. So with the related videos, I just mentioned this last week, but we'll get a 4-minute clip. We'll script it out and we'll talk about what we want to see as a product demo, unboxing, all the main benefits, each benefit in a single video. And then any features, instructions, ingredients, and then we'll create a thumbnail for each one, and we'll put them along the related videos, and we'll fill that carousel up. And then when people look at it, it looks like it's an educational section about your product. And that's just another area that your competitors are not going to fill up with their videos.
Yeah, it's really just doing, like I said, it's just doing everything and better and more and going beyond what your competitors would do. And so many things is just like little 1% incremental additions that you're doing, but you do enough of those and it really adds up. So love
now,
that.
let me see. We got it's already 12:50. Okay, so do you want to go quickly over? I know we were going to have one of the talking points was going to be organizing your team structure. Can we get through that in a few minutes?
Yeah, certainly. And it really just depends what everyone is, where everyone's at, but in the micro version of that. Quickly enough, my team, we actually have like 35 people in 8 different countries around the world, which has been really amazing. And we have an office in Lahore, Pakistan. So shout out to everyone in the office. But we run everything in different pods, right? So what does each brand need, right? You really need one head of the brand that is essentially the project manager that ties everything together. Okay, so the person that's overseeing everything and connecting it, because everything needs to come together harmoniously. PPC expertise or mastery is the most important thing. And I think if your product or brand if you can't succeed with your PPC in some fashion, look into that or get help or something, but that's incredibly important. So we have a dedicated PPC person for every brand. We have dedicated inventory management person for every brand. And it's just amazing. Amazon just takes a little bit more every year, right? So get very, all these different costs and storage fees and everything like that. So having a dedicated person, and also just shipping from China, storage, 3PL, charge to Amazon, having that streamlined is incredibly important. There's so much savings to be had in that. And then we also have, a dedicated person for any Amazon issues or, if we're having any problems with your listings taken down, or we need to upload something, change the titles, bullet points, customer support, anything like that, that's an incredibly important thing. So we have a project manager, inventory management person, PPC, and then someone making sure everything is live and fully functional. And that would include, our project manager makes sure we use a tool called Data Dive, and we, put our top competitors into that, plug it in there, and we're going to see, hey, who has the best title, who has the best bullet points, where is everyone ranking in there? And then we, of course, track our keywords. We use a program called Data Rova to track our keywords daily. And that project manager is then communicating with our PPC team, like, hey, our keywords are slipping here for our most important keywords. I think we need to push this a little bit more. So it's kind of how everything flows in together. And hey, if you're a one-man show, those are the different, which me and my best friend were running it for just the two of us for quite a while when we were getting started. Well, just be aware these are all the different aspects that you need. And I didn't mention as well, you're creative. So we usually work with like a lot of great contractors. We have an in-house team as well, but we have a lot of great contractors in our network that just like do incredible product photography videos. I'm in Mexico here as well, which is where I live. So we have some extremely high-end people that do our creative work at a very affordable price, which has been very helpful for me. So photography, videos, graphic design, titles, bullet points, everything. So those are the factors. Yeah.
Very good. And all under 5 minutes. So that was perfect. All right. So Kelsey, questions, please.
Okay, first question from Neil. We're having our suppliers send us 10 units, and we're going to get friends and family to do UGC photos and videos for us for free. Do you agree with this approach?
It would be curious if you're already selling and that's your strategy, is to say, some people get friends and family to leave some reviews and stuff, which is very common, but be careful with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, doing review stuff doing review stuff. Amazon can ban your account, right? So you have to be extremely careful with that. So is that worthwhile if they're going to buy that on Amazon, maybe, and then do UGC? That can be done. Another program that I use is called Join Brands. Shout out to Ian for making that program, but that's an amazing network. I think they have God only knows, but like 100,000 people that will buy your product on Amazon and create UGC for you. And it costs like $15 plus your unit cost. So that's a very scalable and efficient way to get UGC that I use.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Next one is from Bassi. What would you suggest external traffic wise for a beginner?
That's a great question. For a beginner, it all depends on where you're at in your business and then also your budget. So if you want to do it in a very conservative way, when Norm got into Amazon and I got into Amazon, which is probably just slightly after Norm, it was just so easy. And Amazon was just this golden ticket, kind of an opportunity. And what I'm studying and what I'm really feeling is that, and TikTok's been out for a while now, but the amount of reach that you can get through organic TikTok videos is pretty crazy. YouTube doesn't come close to it on these different channels, short form video content, essentially. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity, especially if you want to have a conservative budget, to offer lots of people free products, have them create all this short form content, perhaps post it on, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube shorts. And the amount of reach that you can get from that is fantastic. Besides that, you can also, the very common thing is running Google ads, of course, and Facebook is the classic one.
Okay, I just noticed that Neil was saying not reviews, just use UGC. Yeah, that would be fine. Like if you're using,
absolutely,
use all the friends and family you can. Get them. One of the things that we've done is, and we use a company called Billio. We'll get them to create a video, whatever we want. Like it could be an unboxing, it could be a product demo, whatever it is. They provide us with a 4K video, and then we'll take screen captures. So we get the video, and we also get a bunch of photos. We just use them in our social media, repurpose it, and then we'll combine some videos with other videos that we get done, and it works out really well. If you want to do that with your friends and family, you could do exactly the same thing. That's no problem with that
Yeah.
at all.
And then put it in your listing too, perhaps.
Yeah.
UGC, people love seeing UGC. So if there's lots of people using your product, depending on what it is, but lots of people using your product, cut it up all together and put it in your image. That's definitely like a kind of a validation potentially for potential buyers.
Right.
All right. Let me see from Rad. Can we recruit affiliates through inserts on our packaging?
That's a great question. I would say Amazon really cracked down on inserts. How long ago? About a year and a half or two, a couple years ago. So it all depends. I mean, don't say anything. Perhaps if you do, don't say anything at all about, just be so conservative in everything you do. I wouldn't ask them to do too much. And honestly, I'd probably stay away from inserts for the most part now.
Okay, I'm kind of curious about that, because my understanding on inserts is that Amazon cracked down on people that had specific inserts for specific Amazon products. If you had an insert that you had and it was sold at Walmart, sold at retail, then it wouldn't be a problem, as long as you're not, as long as that crazy phrase. I just saw it the other days. I bought something. If you liked,
this,
then click here or scan our QR code. If you don't, click here. And I went, are you kidding? Yeah. I couldn't believe I got it. But if it would have just been like a generic, like with your insert, product warranty code, if it was something that wasn't Amazon specific and it was generic, just like your social media or your website, you could put your website on your packaging. It's
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can I've I just kind of have stopped doing all inserts.
Got away from it completely.
The brands that are working with are already doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely say, hey, the thing is, any sort of incentivization, just be careful with in general. But certainly especially if you have a high volume of people buying your products, it would be cool to get them to take some UGC and share it in some way. Just be really thoughtful and don't mention the word review. That's for sure.
Yeah. We have a client that just says tag us, and they show this really high-end knife. So a very popular knife on Amazon, and they just tag and then they use it in posts, and he gets hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tags, and it's just great. It's just free awesome. UGC.
All right. We have a comment from CoolHand99. Cutting costs to not continually bleed money is something I've been currently working on. Knowing what to cut and what not to cut is something I've struggled with, but I'm getting better at it. Maybe do you have any advice for him?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, look at your search query performance reports and also look at your search term reports on PPC. Just realize and then add common sense to that and compare that to those keywords to your product and think, if someone searches for this keyword, are they really intending to buy my product? And if it's not highly relevant at all, then probably just cut that, right? And then, I like to use other tools like Scale Insights and things like that. And you can just really see like, okay, if this is my conversion rate, say my conversion rate is 10% for this particular product, well, and this is my margin, this is the max cost per click that I can really have if I want to run at least at a break even or whatever it may be. So you have your different objectives, whether it's ranking or profitability on a keyword level for pay-per-click. And if it doesn't align with that objectives, then just drastically reduce it, the cost there. But make sure, look at all the data, and then you as the business owner is the one with the common sense to know if that keyword's even worth pursuing.
All right. Next.
All right. We got two more from Bassi. What about Amazon Insights? I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Inspire, but yeah.
I'm not sure about the question actually.
What about Amazon Inspire? I guess it's I think they meant Amazon Inspire, the kind of like TikTok style video program or beta program they have right now.
Oh, that's really cool. I have not experimented with that yet, but short form video content is the way. And if that's what that is, it's certainly worth exploring in a similar way to Amazon posts.
Kelsey, have
Mhm.
you experienced Amazon Inspire?
No, in Canada, it's at least on my Amazon account, like I don't have access to it actually, so I haven't been able to use it. But I know Raphael from we met him on the online seller cruise.
Yeah, sure.
He really liked it, and he was saying like the placement of it is like you can go to Inspire directly, like right next to like the add to cart. So like just the placement itself.
Yeah,
It seems that Amazon is really pushing
it.
that because that's like a prime location for
Hmm.
it.
Awesome.
So it's
Well,
super accessible.
I learned something then, and I would love to test it a lot with some of the brands that we work with and maybe come back and share some results.
Yeah, the Inspire button, you can check it on your phone, Ken. Just go down and you'll see that there's a new icon. It looks like a little person, and you just click on there and you'll get into Inspire. We're in Canada. We don't have access to it. But anyways, if you do that, you can check it out. And they also have a really good webpage on Inspire.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to get placements. Bassie's asking how do we get placements on Inspire. I'm not sure exactly. I've never used it myself.
We'll have to get somebody that, again, unfortunately, that's something we haven't used. But I know that there's a lot of people saying a lot of positive things, and we'll try to get somebody on the podcast to talk about it.
Okay. And our last question from Neil. If we can have 7 or 8 bullets, should we do that to take up more real estate on the page? And should we make the bullets longer so it takes up even more real estate?
I don't think necessarily. My opinion is that people just read less and less, and for the most part, I have our bullet points. With good copywriting, good sales copy, calling out your main keywords and the most important, sort of benefits of the product, and I think most people don't really read them anymore, and we really use kind of graphics and really large call out text on all of our images. That's where we focus on. So in terms of taking up real estate, that's not a strategy we really use.
I'm the same. I don't, at launch, I'll squeeze in as much as I can into a bullet, but within 30 days, I'll be switching them over to a much smaller, more engaging bullet, just like you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Okay, so I think that's it for questions.
Okay, so last chance. If this is the first time, and I see that there's a lot of new viewers on here, if this is the first time listening to the podcast, we have a little segment at the end called Wheel of Kelsey, where we give away a really great prize every podcast. If you'd like to enter, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you get a second entry. And Ken is generous enough to give us 1 hour of his time to one lucky winner. So we're going to go to a sponsor, and then we're coming right back. So this is your last chance to enter. All right. So Kelsey, hit that button. This episode of Lunch with Norm is sponsored by SureGo Marketing. Ready to take your brand to the next level on TikTok and Instagram? SureGo Marketing specializes in helping entrepreneurs and coaches build profitable brands on TikTok and Instagram, and in less than 90 days. With SureGo Marketing, you can build your brand, create incredible video content, and increase leads without spending a single dime on ad spend. Visit SureGoMarketing.com today and elevate your brand. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, Ken, I am going crazy here, but I know in Mexico you have the incredible Mexican Coca-Cola, right? You still use natural sugar.
Real sugar.
I'm a Coke zero sugar fanatic. I drink about 6 to 10 of these a day. I shouldn't, but I do. I'm going crazy, and we've got 17 people on here. I just did a post. Something's up. I don't know what. And this is a conspiracy going on here. I opened this at the beginning. Okay. My Coke Zero goes flat after 15 to 20 minutes now. This started about a month ago, and it's completely flat. So I'm just kind of curious if anybody else is a Coke Zero fan, what the heck is happening? Like, this is completely completely flat. So anyways, conspiracy theories, new one. Something's happening with Coke Zero. I don't know what it is.
Awesome. If you win the wheel spin, Norm, I'll send you some Mexican Coke all the way to Canada.
All right, there we go. Now, just in case the NSA is listening, we're talking about Coca-Cola.
Of course.
All right, so Kelsey, let's have that the wheel of Kelsey.
Before we do, Ken,
Yep.
how can people contact you or find you?
Please go to fullcircleagency.com and check us out. If you just hit the button there to contact us. We primarily focus on 7, 8, and 9-figure brands, and we do full service operations for them. But also just recently started doing just pay-per-click advertising as well, specifically to tailor to all brands, basically. So even if you just want to talk for a little bit or have any questions, just please go to fullcircleagency.com and send us a message.
Very good. All right, now hit that button.
All right, here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for entering today's Wheel of Kelsey. I'm going to just shuffle these up. And we do this every single podcast, so make sure you enter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you are the winner, please email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com, and Redbeard.
Our last entry.
All right.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
Redbeard. Make sure you email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com. You're from YouTube, so you got to contact me. I can't reach out to you. So that would be great. And we posted the Full Circle Agency link here, so check them out. And I think that's it.
Okay. So Ken, if you could, we're going to remove you from the podcast, but just stay backstage for a second and we'll get right back to you. But anyways, thank you so much for coming on and talking about the different topics today. It was really great talking with you. The time flew by. I can't believe it's already 10 after 1. Anyway, thank you, sir, and love to have you back.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right, everybody. So I hope you learned a bit today, and you are going to, as we said, not have good intentions, but take what we talked about and put it into action. Kelsey, anything else to say?
All right. So we got a lot of congratulations to Redbeard. So big win today. So again, email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com. And also, if you're just tuning in now, make sure you smash those like buttons. Give us a thumbs up. We're going to release this edited episode on YouTube and podcast next Monday, so you can find the shortened version next Monday. But thank you for our live listeners joining us today. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And join our Facebook group. That's the Lunch with Norm, Amazon, FBA, and eCommerce Collective for updates. We post there every day. And you can follow Norm on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are. Norm is. That beard follows you everywhere.
That's a new one.
That's it.
All right. So like I say, every podcast, well, first of all, you can listen to us live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And we have such an awesome community. We couldn't do this podcast without you. If you'd like to join the community, check out our Facebook group. That's Lunch with Norm, the eCommerce and Amazon FBA Collective. It's an awesome group, really engaged. If we don't answer the questions, there's a bunch of people that'll hop on and answer it. So, okay, so that's it. Happy Canada Day, happy Independence Day, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Lunch with Norm.